calls this show and says, J-Rock, that's not true. Now, I can say I don't believe you, but he blatantly denied whatever we're saying. At least you have a blatant denial there that you can attach back to the story. Anyways, that's my point on that, is you can say, well, he's just up there giving lip speak. I say, no, he would have just not said. I mean, anyways, that's my take on that. And if that's the point, then why? Because if we're at that point, why do you bother interviewing players? Why do we bother talking to anybody? The whole world should be speculation. Because, I mean, if you go to a guy and if you ask a guy a question and he gives you an answer straightforward, looks you in the eye and says, this is it. Now, maybe he proves himself to be a liar, and that's a different situation. But if that's not good enough, then all we're doing is speculating on everything. I'll never interview anybody. Hell with it. I'm just going to go, hey, guess what? Deion Waiters said he's tired of coming off the bench. I don't know that. I just speculated it, but that's as good a reporting as some of the stuff I see out there. Anyways, just got a kick out of that, you guys, and got some reaction to Kevin Love yesterday. People say, who cares what he said? He didn't mean it. He just said it. Really? He just decided, I'm just going to say this, because he would have blatantly just said, well, that's next year, and I'll talk about next year. Whenever you hear a guy say that, he's probably planning on leaving. When he doesn't give you anything direct like that, he's thinking at least about leaving. But when he blatantly says, hey, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. If I could sign it now, I would, but I can't. You're just going to have to take my word that I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. What else do you want? That's it. Story's over. Go into the phones. Caller, you got 60 seconds to wrap me up.
It takes longer than 60 seconds to say hello, J-Rock Daddy.
Hey, what's up, my man? LG, what's happening? All right, maybe I'll give you 90 seconds. What's up, buddy?
J-Rock Daddy, I got to tell you, man, what a wild week it is with Browns football. Oh. You know, with this quarterback controversy taking place, and how's Hoyer going to do this and how's Hoyer going to do that. We're missing some main points. This is a homecoming for a big-time Cleveland Browns kick return man, Josh Cribbs, who's playing with the Indianapolis Colts this week. Yep. He's coming in, and he vows to jump into the dog pound. And don't forget the Quill Jackson, the linebacker. Pardon me?
Trent Richardson said he's going in the dog pound too, man. T. Rich, of course, I got a kick out of his statements. He's got a chip on his shoulder this week because the Browns gave up on him. And again, listen, T. Rich is a great guy. If you need 1 yard, T. Rich is your man because he'll get you 2. If you need 3 yards, T. Rich will get you 2. Brother, you need 2 yards, that's your man. Listen, I like Trent Richardson, and I'm not going to lie. I definitely thought I would have never, you and I were together on draft night. I would have never went up to get him. You don't do that with a running back. That being said, if you take out where they drafted him, I did think that he had the chance to get something going because he had that physical style. And, of course, remember the first game? He had his best game. He knocked somebody's helmet off. It was all downhill from there for T. Rich. But I did. I thought he had a chance. My problem is I couldn't believe that they took him at the top of the draft the way that they did when you don't take running backs. Like, you don't take running backs up outside the third round pretty much in today's NFL. The Browns were absolutely crazy. But I just thought it was funny, LG, that he threatened to jump into the dog pound if he scores. I'm like, well, isn't that the equivalent of an empty threat? I'm like, I'm sure he would, but what are the odds he's going to score? Now, of course, that being said, T. Rich will now score 3 touchdowns this weekend. But, yeah, I just thought, well, I mean, I bet you Brian Hoyer will jump in the end zone if he scores too, but the offense hasn't put too many touchdowns in the end zone just yet in the last few weeks. I'm jokingly saying, I bet you would, T. Rich. I bet you would love to be able to jump in the end zone. That would mean you scored. But yeah, him and Cribbs both. You know what? Seriously, all joking about T. Rich aside, Josh Cribbs is one hell of a class act. If you listen to his conference call, which I got a chance to sit in on yesterday, if you listen to his conference call, all he did was talk about how bad he wishes right now he was playing for the frickin' Browns, man. He said, I did everything I could do to let them know that I wanted to come, that I was ready to come, that I was trying to come to the Browns, and nobody would even call that man back. He said he did not understand why he got no phone call. He didn't even get a, you know what, we're just not interested. They just never contacted him after he reached out in various ways. He goes, I'm on TV every week doing the news and saying, boy, would I love to help the Browns do some kick returns, and they're just ignoring me week to week. So I decided I want to play football. And he even said he had to go ask the Browns fans if he could have their permission to go play for another team. That's how bad he still wanted to play with the Browns. He wanted to make sure that it was okay with the fans that he goes sign with another team because he feels like playing football and the Browns won't return his phone calls. What do you think about that?
Well, from what I understood, I thought his agent even had dinner with Ray Farmer once, J-Rock Daddy, down there in Berea. I remember reading a report about that weeks and weeks ago,
well,
long before he was part of the Indianapolis Colts. But it just seems to me like there's a couple... Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm just saying, he said through his people that he reached out through people and told the Browns, and they never even responded back. So I don't even know about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, you know, obviously they don't want Josh Cribbs back in a Cleveland Browns uniform, and with the special teams play that the Cleveland Browns have, since Josh Cribbs has became an Indianapolis Colts, Pagano tells you this kid is fearless. Well, this guy, Cribbs, now, because he's an aged veteran, even if he had lost a step, J-Rock Daddy, he's still averaging 31 yards a kick return, man. And the funny thing is, the Browns special teams hasn't played that great of football all season long. All we need is a guy like Josh Cribbs coming back at us. And you know, I'm not hoping for the best for him,
how often, though?
Unfortunately.
How often?
But he could return one for a touchdown against this Cleveland special teams who haven't been that special at all this year.
I'm worried about that right there, what you just said, because absolutely he's motivated. I mean, how often does a guy spend his conference call for the other team explaining to the media, almost apologizing that he now plays for the other team and saying, I wish I was playing this game for the Browns. It's all I wanted. Because, you know, Josh Cribbs, he said last year he would not play in the NFL for any team other than the Browns. And it wasn't until he finally said, I can't wait any longer. These guys just will not call me back. They will not bring me back. But I just was amazed more than anything else that he's on the Colts, and he's basically spent his whole coaching call talking about how bad he wishes that he was on the Browns right now. That says something about him.
Well, he wanted to retire in a Cleveland Browns uniform, J-Rock.
Absolutely, and he still might get the chance in the future, but I'm amazed myself.
It's doubtful. Let's be honest. Let's be realistic.
I'm just amazed that with their need at the position, it's not even like we're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. With their need at the position, I'm just amazed that nobody made that call. Not even just, hey, come return some kicks at practice for us and let us see what you got. It was, I'm telling you, I'm looking at the quote right here. He said nothing. They just didn't even reach out, and knowing how bad they needed that position, for them to not even return the call, that hurt. That hurt very bad, and I don't know where that came from, because I was sitting here just waiting to come back and play with them. I mean, that says a lot to me. And maybe there's a reason. Maybe Ray Farmer will tell us later there was a reason. He'll say there was something in the medicals, but you can say what you want. But he went and signed with the Colts and ran a couple of decent kick returns first time out there. So he's still got some...
Well, he's averaging, J-Rock, 31 yards a kick return. And Pagano is amazed. The only time Cribbs hasn't run back a kick return yet was the one time when they played against the Washington Redskins, and they had the hands team on, thinking that the Redskins would pull off an onside kick. And so Cribbs, out of being the seasoned veteran that he was, or is, didn't want the hands team to have to do any blocking. He didn't want to risk injury to his teammates. But shows you what kind of IQ this guy has when it comes to the game of NFL football. But you know what, J-Rock? It also shows us one thing that I've learned, when I used to do my show, and I had a lot of different football players on, and I would ask guys like Anthony Dorsett Jr. and LeVon Kirtland what they thought about free agents and coming to Cleveland. You got to wonder, man. There's very little loyalty in the game of football, and sometimes with the Cleveland Browns, there's a lot less loyalty in the game of football for guys like Josh Cribbs, who gave everything they had to the Cleveland Browns for a number of years, and bringing him back and letting him retire. I mean, look at the Indians. They did it for Jim Thome. They gave him a statue. They brought him back. They had Jim Thome night. He played for the team. I mean, that was a nostalgic moment, J-Rock.
I don't want that. I don't want him to come back, though. I'm saying I want him to come back when we needed him and he was still in his prime. That's great. If he wants to make a retirement trip to Cleveland, that's fine. We give him a one-day contract. But I want Ray Farmer. Somebody needs to ask that man what was the real deal behind not bringing. And I'm not saying this as a Josh Cribbs fan. I'm saying this as a fan of the punt return being a part of your strategy every week, because the Browns they just gave up on the punt return game for this season. They just said, you know what? We don't even return kicks.
And everybody else were just hoping they would catch the darn thing.
I know. They're in fair catch mode. They're just like, you know what? For the rest of the season, fair catch is all we do. Anyways, LG, my man, I got to go. I'm up against it. Give me a call tomorrow, my brother.
All right, J-Rock, Daddy, you be good. And it was a great show today with Hammy on there, man. What a guy, huh? Congratulations.
Absolutely, man.
Great
awesome
interview, buddy.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. LG, my man, from Cleveland Sports 360. Go Browns, as always. Oh, I cut him off. Sometimes I click the button too quick on accident. It's a hair trigger, guys. But thank you, my man, LG. Thanks to you guys for being with us. Keep the conversation going all night long and all day tomorrow and all whenever you're listening to this. Some of you, it might be a month from now. Truly, like some people listen to this show like a month behind, and I'm like, how is that even possible? We're pretty time topically sensitive. But anyways, I don't care. I don't care when you listen. Thank you for doing it, guys. And be with us tomorrow, because we've got a big one coming. Friday edition, as always. Jonathan Knight, sports writer extraordinaire, in the house. Jeff Gorman from Browns101.com giving you the scouting report for the Indianapolis Colts. Ryan Ruiz from Dog Pound Nation bringing you the 3 dog bones to a Browns victory. Eddie Jansen from More Than a Fan Cleveland recapping the Cavs and the Knicks tonight and previewing the second half of that back-to-back and talking about the week that was in Cavaliers hoops. We look ahead one last time to the Big Ten championship game and so much more. Winter meetings are kicking off this weekend. A lot to do, and let's do it tomorrow and talk about it together right here on the show. By the way, as well, congratulations, my friends. The Lake Erie Monsters went out there and took care of business against Chicago last night. 3-2 victory for the Monsters. We just had Doug Plagans on the show the other day. They get a rematch with the Monsters coming up tomorrow. We'll talk about that as well. And hey, you guys, I see many of you saying you enjoyed the show with Tom Hamilton and the interview. Please spread the word. Take a copy of the link and spread it out there for people to listen to this show as well. Fellow Indians fans, let them know it was a great, nearly hour-long chat with Tom Hamilton, the voice of the Indians. Thank you guys. It was our pleasure, privilege, and honor to bring it to you and to be on the air as always. Thanks to Tom Hamilton. Thanks to the Indians. Thanks to Gray & Company Publishing. Thanks to the BSK Kendall Lewis. Thanks to BJ Rudell, Fantasy Football for Winners, and each and every one of you guys for doing it with us. We'll see you tomorrow live. Same bat time, same bat channel, right here across the Sports Fix Radio Network. We love you, Cleveland and beyond. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow right here on the Sports Fix. Don't forget, get them in all night long. Tomorrow we'll announce the winner. Glory Days in Tribe Town by Tom Hamilton and Terry Pluto. Email us now, thesportsfix@AOL.com. Tell me you want in. Email number 25 wins a copy tomorrow. We'll see you then live on the Sports Fix.
Euclid corridor and all the flat. You know that I'm a Tribes fan and I love sliming. Crockett Park's the perfect place for me to spend some time in. Baby, this is Cleveland. It is so much more to us. You can even go to Severance Hall to see an orchestra.
In Cleveland, we rep our city.
Yeah.
Blue lights separate the ground from the gritty. Red sick fitted, hood pass cover any city that we visit. When you up on Cleveland, survival's our must. Streets, we hustle, don't sleep. Out here in Cleveland, Cleveland, Cleveland.
You know that I'm from
long nights, cold weather, it ain't nothing pretty.